Good morning, guys. I'm so excited to be back with you today. It has been a few weeks since I've been able to do a voiceover or sit down and actually have like a completed build. I was quite right, I think, in going ahead and pre-recording ahead of time for the holidays because it has been pretty darn crazy in my house. I think since the last time I've talked to you, maybe I talked to you after one of my cousins had a new little baby, but since then another cousin has had a new little baby. We've had a Thanksgiving, we've had quite a few family dinners. In fact, we're having a family dinner tonight. For you, this will be in the new year. Happy 2022. But for me, I'm still living in 2021. I'm still living in December 2021. But it has been crazy, and I'm very glad I pre-recorded, but it does mean that because it's been so crazy, it's been a while since I've been able to sit down and do this, and I missed it very, very much. So today we're working on a cottage. This is actually the first, specifically cottage living build that I've done at all, not even just for the channel, just actually sitting down in this world, building with the new stuff for the most part. I definitely struggled with those roof pieces and did eventually give up. I have to play with those. I'm not sure how to use those. And I kind of went in, I had a little bit of a plan, but not really with this particular build because I'm not super familiar with how to build in this style. So it was kind of fun to explore, and it took a while to get where I liked it. It's kind of an interesting build too because so after I finished the New Year's build, which you will have seen at this point, but again, it's still scheduled for me, I kind of took a little bit of a break because I was getting a little burnt out trying to get everything done, which, like I said, ended up working out good because I was just not stressed when I didn't have time to record for a while. And then I came back and I was like, I have all these big builds I want to do, and several of them ended up not working out, which is so annoying. It's so frustrating when you put countless hours into a build and you're like, this is simply not going to turn out in any way. And it's my fault because I was doing real life to Sims builds and real life houses that I've been in, and sometimes those work, and when it's an 1880s house that your family member owns, no matter what you do in The Sims, it's not going to feel right? So I ended up having to give up on that, and then I watched too much HGTV and got really excited about historic homes, and I was having a hard time. And so I didn't have very high hopes for this cottage, and there was several times, especially with the roofing, where I was like, you know what? I don't have time to deal with this. I'm in a slump. I'm not going to deal with this. But I kept going, and I love how this little house turned out. It turned out so cute. And yes, I'm tooting my own horn here. It turned out so cute in my opinion. And it was really nice because I haven't had a lot of time to sit. And so it was really nice to have this build work out in such a way where I could come back to it. I think I did this house over the course of 2 weeks because I was just not at my computer unless it was for work. And this last week, for example, I had a cold and I was trying to get all my Christmas gifts wrapped and everything. And so it was nice to just be able to be like, all right, I have 15 minutes. I bet I can do the living room, or at least part of the living room, things like that. And it also worked out because it was a nice place to kind of explore some of the new stuff the Sims are doing. During the course of this build, they started rolling out smaller things in that Sims delivery system or whatever they're calling it, which is a little annoying for me personally. It's a great system, don't get me wrong. I was struggling with it because I don't have this PC online unless I'm specifically doing something online related, and so the game yells at me constantly. It's like, dude, for real? Are you gonna go online so we can update? But I digress. This little build is for probably 1, maybe 2 Sims. It's not tight by any means, but we pack a lot of furniture in. There's a home working space. I've been really big on the concept of having some sort of little home working space in all my builds because I do that thing. And I think it's kind of very topical right now to have a home working space. I am in love with this kitchen. It is possibly the cutest kitchen I've ever done. Which, I don't know, depending if you like my style or not, may or may not be saying anything, but man alive, I love this kitchen. And it uses the cabinets. I'm trying to think. I cannot remember. Do I end up using the cottage living stove? Maybe I do end up using the cottage living stove. I can't remember. I was gonna say I use different uppers. I don't remember. Yeah, it's because they didn't have, I was trying to do a little white and green kitchen. It doesn't say that, what kind of does, but it ends up going kind of more green and pink. But because I love this fridge. This fridge is my favorite thing I think they've ever added to the game. Full stop. I love that fridge. But yeah, it ended up going, the whole build ended up pretty pink and green, which was not kind of the plan, but I didn't really, like I said, I didn't really super come in with a plan for this build because I was kind of downtrodden after a few builds going south, which happens, right? I think well, maybe we don't. I was gonna say, I think we all. Probably not. Maybe I'm the only one who goes through Sims slumps where nothing I build is, like, right, you know? So I kind of kept waiting for this one to, like, annoy me. I was like, this is gonna end up being one of those where, like, I'm desperately annoyed with it by the end, but it turned out okay. Like I said, I got a lot more green and pink than I thought, but that was entirely that Fridge's fault. So, a ton of packs. I used about 1 million packs in this build, which is saying something because I'm well and truly behind in Sims content in terms of, like, I'm definitely a little bit of a collector with The Sims 4. I totally wasn't with The Sims 3. I had pets, and I think that's it. Yeah, I think I just had pets as an expansion, and that was because horses, and I am your stereotypical horse girl. But I didn't really collect, I didn't care too much. I think because I got into Sims 3 on PC later in its life cycle. So by the time I got into the game, I had already heard about, like, what is it, Island Paradise or whatever it was called, having so many issues and it running really poorly, and I was running on a much smaller PC at the time, so it wasn't running great just as a base game, so I wasn't too worried about the expansions or anything, and I had played a little bit on console, which was a very different experience for Sims 3 and Sims 4. I have not played The Sims 4 on console. I've kind of debated it. I think it's on... Is it on Game Pass, perchance? Or EA, something. There was a way to play it without purchasing it not too terribly long ago, if I recall. But I have it on PC, and I love it on PC, so I wasn't too terribly worried about playing it on console. Where was I going with this conversation? Oh, I wasn't really a collector in The Sims 3. I've played pretty much every iteration of The Sims, sans Sims 1 when it came out. I don't think I played Sims 1 really during its life cycle, but I played 2 and Medieval, and Castaways was my favorite, and Sims 3, was it Sims 2 Castaways or Sims 3 Castaways? It had to have been Sims 2 Castaways. Anyways, point being is I've played a lot of Sims, but I've never really played them, like, necessarily during their life cycle. It's always been kind of at the end when they're on sale, you know? And Sims 3, yeah, I think it had to have been Sims 3 Castaways. Anyways, Castaways was, like, a big deal in my house because it was my first teen-rated game, and my mom was not keen on me playing it, but I played it at a friend's house and fell in love. And to this day, I don't know what happened to the disc. The family PC we were playing on died, and Mom said, gather all your stuff, and so we did, and I gathered the disc, and I put it in our little disc holder. And magically it just disappeared, and my mom was like, I bet you left it in the PC. But I distinctly remember pulling it out, and I have a small but sneaking suspicion perhaps it sort of intentionally got thrown out, because I was like 12. I should probably not have been playing that game with the kind of content The Sims has, right? Like, people say it's a kid's game, but I mean, let's be honest with you, it's a live sim. It can very easily not be a kid's game, and I was a pretty naive little child, but nonetheless, it can verge into an adult game very quickly. So, what was the original point of that conversation? More rambles with Amanda today, I guess. But anyways, I've really been enjoying the content for The Sims 4, and so I've been loving grabbing the expansion packs and stuff, and I haven't done it in a very long time because it's just not been a financial priority. But I told my brother, I was like, I'm gonna splurge a little bit. I'm gonna do some saving and then maybe some splurging and try to catch up, because there's so many good packs, and like late stage Sims 4 packs, like consistently the ones I'm seeing coming out, like Nifty Knitting, Paranormal, the Bloomin' Rooms kit, which kits are, I have opinions on, but we won't get into them here. But nonetheless, the Bloomin' Rooms kit, even the Industrial Loft kit, I'm like, these are so built for me. I cannot wait to get my hot little hands on them and play with them. Like, I cannot wait till I can spend a few bucks here and there and do some bundles and stuff. I'm very, very excited about 2022 being the year where I can maybe hopefully get some new Sims content. So, and I know there's CC. I always say that. I do play with CC a little bit. I don't do it on the channel because I want you guys, in theory, if the gallery ever like works for me, I want you guys to be able to download these really easy and stuff. But I do mess with CC a little bit. But I get a little bit nervous because, like I said, I don't bring this PC online very often. And so I get really nervous anytime I have to download anything. But especially, like, if CC doesn't work, it feels like a lot of work for nothing. It feels like an exceptional amount of work for nothing. So I tend to be really careful with that. Going back to the build, actually talking about what we're doing, I kind of went back and forth with the like clutter between it being someone's little home kind of away from home and almost like Airbnb, but I started cluttering it more and more towards one specific person because I kind of thought about it like maybe sort of a vacation home kind of thing, but for one specific step, like a second home, which is a little bit weird. Or like your great aunt owns it, but she doesn't live here anymore, so you can go hang out kind of thing. I know a lot of families do that. My family doesn't, but you know. I had a friend whose grandma had a beach house, so they would always go down to the beach. Or like I had a friend whose family member had like a timeshare thing in Hawaii. So that's kind of what I was thinking. So the clutter is a little bit, I don't want to say impersonal, but it's a little bit sort of what you'd bring with you to a vacation home kind of thing. And I think I have it set up where it would be just fine for a rental as well. Like if you wanted to turn this into a vacation home, which would be kind of cool, like come to the country for a break. But it is a single bedroom, and the bedroom is completely functional. It's tight, but it's completely functional. Everything in here has been game tested. And again, like, it's a squish, but your sim can make it. That's why I say it's probably a 1 sim house, maybe a 2 sim house. That was me just realizing that there was an inflatable shark, because I had not seen that before. But I think you could get away with a couple here. I don't think you could get away with like a family vacay here, or probably even like roommates really easily. There's one double bed. You'd have to pull a cot. I love the outside too. We haven't gotten to that. We'll get to it a little bit later. But I'm actually quite proud of the outbuildings. So I've been playing around. I wanna do like an experimental run with the cow sheds, because I'm curious to see, or llama sheds depending. I'm curious to see if I can like build around them and make it look like one big barn. Because I'd love to have like a stall looking situation, but they did the little outbuildings themselves, which is fair, and I get why they did that, to make it an object. But I'm wondering if I can like swing it to kind of make it look like stalls and still have it be functional. And I'm not sure, but I was able to swing it. It's completely functional in this build, and I was able to swing it where it looks like it's part of a bigger building. It's got like a little like run-in next to it, and the walls kind of connect, and it does work, and you can clean it and everything. So now I'm like, how far can I push this? How far can I push this mechanic? And so in this little bathroom, I knew I wanted a tub and a shower, because I was pretty sure the sim that I'm going to make for this house was going to probably have a dog, because I kind of feel like with the foxes you need a dog, although I don't know if the dog's actually guard against the foxes, but I thought it would be fun. I'm doing a personal playthrough right now. On my, like, I have a personal save and a YouTube save. This is the YouTube save, but I have a personal save where I'm doing a girl and her dog move out, and I'm trying to kind of make it seem like she's a remote work software engineer, much like yours truly, and that is turning out to be super duper fun, because she can just work from her laptop from home. Well, we're kind of making it seem that way, at least. And that's kind of a little bit what I was thinking here, is I was like, if someone wanted to kind of do like what I'm playing through, that would be really fun. And I went a little crazy with the wallpapers and stuff, because how often can you do like kitschy grandma wallpapers? So went a little nuts with those. And I love these bedside tables. My only gripe in general is just there's no tiny nightstands and there's no tiny end tables, which I know they're kind of interchangeable, but like they're huge. And I know they're supposed to be a grid, so like a grid tile, but like half a grid tile would be fine most of the time. These are huge. Here you can see me playtesting, and then the people with the fruitcake showed up and then wouldn't leave for a little while. I see more welcome wagons than I think is probably worth anybody's time. It cracks me up, but they came by with fruitcake. I think, actually now I've said that, it might be in the screenshots. We'll have to look. I didn't think about it, but every time I go to take screenshots, anytime I do a build, halfway through the screenshots, I'm like, oh, I completely forgot this and this and this. So, but I really do love how this little house turned out. It's tiny, but it's cute, and I did things that I don't normally do, like the pink gingham wallpaper and sort of the really like frilly girly designs. I don't usually mess with that too much. Like I have like an aesthetic, if you will. Over here sounding more important than I am. And this one was definitely not something I think I usually do. I definitely do like cottage a lot, but I don't do like the pink very often. And so it was really fun to just make like a super girly build. This outside, I'm changing subject really rapidly, apologies, took forever. I could not figure out what I wanted to do. And there was a solid week and a half between the bedroom and doing the outside. Like, I put a bunch of stuff down, and then there's a sneaky little edit in there if you go back and you watch, because I didn't know what to do, and I didn't have time to really sit and think about it. So I just ignored the outside for a while, and then finally sitting down now, I was like, you know, New Year's is a lot closer than it seems, and I have no content for the beginning of the year whatsoever. And I do try to, I don't want to get as far ahead as I have been for the holidays all the time, because then when cool things happen, the videos are like a couple months out, you know? But I do try to stay at least a week ahead, because I don't always get time to play. I really don't. Sometimes I can go 2 weeks without opening The Sims, and that's so sad, because I do love it. It's a good decompress, but sometimes I just don't. And like, I'm helping a friend out with a project right now, and in fact, as I'm sitting here recording, I'm getting texts because she's like, things are breaking, and I'm like, I don't, okay, you know? So that's gonna take time and stuff. I love helping out though, so that's not a big deal. I love this little garden. Yeah, so here's where I started deciding, like, because I was trying, what's the best way to describe this? I was trying to make it not be like an organized hobby farm, but I was trying to make it seem like someone had been there long enough to have put a little bit of work into it, if that makes sense. So like, I was trying to make it seem like your aunt had been there and she had it, you know, like a cow, and had some chickens and stuff. But it wasn't like, this farm makes money. It was like, this little farm has been here long enough that it sustains itself, and that's about it. You know, that kind of thing. I don't know if I'm explaining this really well. Kind of like my farm in real life. This, like, I live on a little farm, and it does a lot of good for me and my soul, and it makes no money. But it's full of animals and love and that kind of thing. And so that's kind of what I was doing here. And with all of the fields and stuff, it kind of looked like, oh, this makes money farming. And I was like, I don't really want to do that. Here's the outbuilding I was talking about, where I kind of wanted, like, I don't know how it is everywhere else, but in the little farming valley where I live, there's a lot of old barns that then have like newer attachments, or like a year before I ended up moving here full time, they had a huge snowstorm come through, and it knocked down a lot of buildings part way, or completely smashed them. And so like on my uncle's farm, he lives about 12 miles from me, he ended up having to put a new section of barn up. So there's like this really old knotty barnwood, and then just this big metal structure. And so I was kind of trying to do that here, where, because I wasn't able to match it exactly, I obviously couldn't make it look like it was the same stone or anything like that, because of course, why would The Sims do that? They're notorious for no matching swatches. This was me trying to player test everything. And so I tried to make it look like there was a wooden add-on in the end. Also, it cracks me up in the screenshots. I didn't realize it. Look, the llama is sleeping. And here you can see I did a lot of landscaping. I don't think I recorded a lot of it because it was literally just placing grass. But I love the way this turned out. Sorry about kind of the crazy rambles today. You've got really flighty all over the place, Amanda. But I love chatting with you guys, and I've missed just rambling about nonsense and talking about Sims builds. And I love this one, and I can't wait till the gallery lets me put it up. I'm hoping pretty soon. I'm thinking maybe just in January I'm going to do a huge jump if it'll let me. And everything will go up, fingers crossed. Working on problems. I love this little work nook. But anyways, I'm over here rambling, so I'm gonna let you go with the screenshots. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope all of your dreams are coming true, and I will talk to y'all very, very soon.